My child, I have seen you counting the coins in your hand, while the mountain of your needs looms tall and shadows your heart. I have watched you in the quiet hours of the night, when the rest of the world is asleep, staring at the ceiling and tracing the patterns of your worries as if they were maps to a destination you cannot reach. I have heard the heavy sigh that escapes your lips when you check the numbers and realize they still do not balance. You have carried the weight of not enough for so long that it has become a garment you wear, a heavy cloak of shame and anxiety that makes your shoulders weary and your spirit dim. But I am here today, leaning close to your ear, to tell you that I am unfastening the buttons of that cloak. I am lifting that weight from you. I see the tears you hide from your family, the pride you have swallowed to ask for favors, and the way your heart sinks every time a new bill arrives. You feel as though you are trapped in a cycle of borrowing time, borrowing money, borrowing hope just to get through the next 24 hours. My beloved, the cycle is breaking. I am the God of the overflow, the architect of the impossible, and the provider who feeds the birds of the air and clothes the lilies of the field. Do you not think I have seen your struggle? I have been with you in every bank line, every difficult conversation, and every moment of lack. But a divine shift is occurring in the unseen realms. I am moving you from the valley of the borrower to the mountain of the lender. For years, you have known the humility of the hand held out for help, but soon you will know the joy of the hand extended to give. I am opening the windows of heaven, not just to trickle a little relief your way, but to pour out a blessing that your storehouses cannot contain. This transformation is not merely about currency, it is about your identity. You were never meant to live in the shadow of debt. You were created to be a conduit of my grace. I am restoring your dignity, your peace, and your sleep. The anxiety that has gripped your chest like a cold hand is being melted away by the warmth of my presence. I want you to breathe deeply now. Let the air fill your lungs and realize that you are still here, you are still standing, and I have never once let you fall. The loneliness you felt while navigating these financial storms was an illusion, for I was the silent partner in your struggle, holding you up when your knees were ready to buckle. I am preparing a table for you in the presence of your debts, and I am calling them settled. You will see doors open that you did not even know existed. Opportunities will seek you out, and resources will gravitate toward you because I have marked this season as your time of jubilee. You have been faithful with the little, even when that little felt like nothing at all. Now, I am making you ruler over much. Do not look at the bank statement today and despair. Look at my promises and rejoice. I am the God who turned water into wine and multiplied the loaves and fishes. Your situation is not too complex for my wisdom. I am smoothing the path before you. I am touching the hearts of those who can help you, and I am removing the obstacles that have blocked your progress for years. This is the hour of your visitation. You will no longer have to explain your lack, for your abundance will speak for itself. I am taking the borrowing out of your vocabulary and replacing it with generosity. You will be the one who rescues others. You will be the one who provides the miracle for a neighbor in need. You will be the lighthouse for those still lost in the storm you are currently exiting. Trust me with your whole heart. Lean not on your own understanding or the grim projections of the world. My economy is not based on the fluctuations of the earth, but on the riches of my glory. You are my precious child, and it is my good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Rest tonight in the absolute certainty that the tide has turned. The morning light will bring with it a new song, a new hope, and the first fruits of a harvest you have sown in tears, but will now reap in joy. I love you with an everlasting love, and I am your ever-present help in times of trouble. The shift has begun. Do you feel the subtle change in the air? It is the scent of rain after a long, weary drought. I have seen you sitting at that small kitchen table, the one with the scratch on the corner, where you have spent so many midnight hours trying to make the numbers work. I saw the yellow highlighter you used to mark the most urgent bills, and I saw the way your hand trembled as you folded the paper and tucked it into a drawer, hoping that by morning, a miracle would find its way to your door. I was there, my child. I was there in the silence. I am the one who gave you the strength to keep your head up when you felt the world was looking down on you. But the season of looking down is over. I am lifting your gaze to the hills from whence your help comes. Think back to the time the car broke down and you didn't know how you would pay for the repair, yet somehow an anonymous gift appeared or a discount was offered that you couldn't explain. That was my hand. Now, imagine a different scenario. Imagine you are the one driving down a street, and I whisper to your heart to stop at a certain house. I will show you the person standing where you once stood, and I will give you the immense joy of handing them the keys to a new beginning. I am transforming your identity from one who survives to one who thrives. I am giving you the wisdom of Solomon to manage the resources I am entrusting to you. You will no longer be paralyzed by the check engine light or the unexpected medical bill. These things, which once seemed like giants, will become mere pebbles beneath your feet. I am opening doors in the corporate world, in the creative spaces, and in the quiet corners of your community that have been locked for generations. People who did not know your name yesterday will be seeking your counsel tomorrow. They will see the peace that radiates from you, a peace that doesn't make sense to those who only understand the mathematics of the earth. I am refining your discernment so you will know where to sow. You will not give out of guilt or manipulation, but out of a fountain of pure love that I have uncapped within you. Remember the scholarship you prayed for. Remember the promotion that went to someone else. I was saving you for something greater. I was preparing a table for you in the presence of your enemies, and now the invitation is being delivered. I am touching the minds of those in positions of authority. They will dream of your success and find themselves compelled to favor you. Your name is being spoken in rooms you haven't even entered yet. I am the God of the breakthrough, and I am breaking through the mental barriers that told you that you were only destined for just enough. You are destined for more than enough, so that you can be my hands and feet on this earth. Do not be startled when the figures on the screen change, or when the long-lost debt is suddenly forgiven by a creditor who cannot explain why they felt the urge to do so. This is the suddenly of my kingdom. It is the fruit of your persistence. I am deepening the well of your compassion. You will be able to look into the eyes of the poor and say with absolute authority, I know a God who provides, because you will have the proof in your own hands. This wealth I am bringing you is not a burden. It is a tool. It is a tool for the kingdom, a tool for the brokenhearted, and a tool for the restoration of your own family's heritage. I am healing the relationships that were strained by financial stress. The arguments that broke out over the lack of money will be replaced by conversations about how to best use the surplus. I am restoring the years the locusts have eaten. I am bringing back the joy of your youth. Feel my peace washing over you like a warm tide. The struggle has been your tutor, but now it is time to graduate. I am with you in the abundance just as I was with you in the scarcity. My love for you has never wavered based on your net worth, but my joy overflows to see you finally walking in the inheritance I have always intended for you. The world will watch in wonder, and you will simply point to me and smile. We are entering a new depth of intimacy, where you trust me not just to provide your daily bread, but to provide the bread for the multitudes through you. Stay close to my heart. Listen for my whispers. The blueprints for your future are being unrolled before your very eyes, and they are more beautiful than anything you could have designed for yourself. I'm also healing the physical toll that the years of lack have taken on your body. I am smoothing the lines of worry from your forehead and releasing the tension in your shoulders that has become so familiar you forgot it was there. You will sleep a different kind of sleep tonight, the sleep of the beloved who knows the Father is awake and working. Even as you rest, I am aligning the stars of your destiny. I am bringing together the right people, the right opportunities, and the right timing in a divine symphony. You will wake up with a clarity of purpose that you haven't felt in a decade. The creative ideas that were smothered by the weight of survival will now begin to breathe and grow. I am giving you the courage to say yes to the big dreams you once felt were irresponsible to even contemplate. You will build, you will plant, and you will see the harvest with your own eyes. There is a specific project on your heart, a dream you tucked away in the back of your mind because it required a miracle amount of funding. Start looking at it again. I am breathing life into those dry bones. I am making a way where there was no way. Your testimony will not just be about how I got you out of debt, but about how I brought you into influence. You are being positioned to change the systems of this world by the power of my Spirit. I am giving you the keys to storehouses you didn't know existed. This is not just for you, it is for the generations that will follow you. They will not know the sting of the empty cupboard or the shut-off notice because you were faithful in the fire. You are the pioneer of a new legacy. I am wrapping my arms around you, pulling you close so you can hear the heartbeat of my provision. Every pulse is a promise. Every breath is a gift. You are transitioning from the desert to the promised land, and I am walking right beside you every step of the way. Do not look back at the dust. Look forward to the fruit. The milk and honey are not just metaphors. They are the tangible realities of my goodness in the land of the living. I am your God, your Father, and your greatest supporter. Let the tears you shed now be tears of relief, for the burden is gone. Feel the weight of that relief settling into your marrow, child. It is the silence that follows a long, battering storm, the kind of quiet that allows you to finally hear your own breathing again. For years, your identity was forged in the furnace of not enough. You became a master of stretching a dollar, a scholar of sacrifice, and a warrior of the midnight hour when the numbers on the screen refused to balance. I saw you in that small kitchen, staring at the pile of envelopes with your head in your hands, wondering if this was the sum total of your life story. I saw the way you tucked your dreams into the bottom drawer of your heart, covering them with the practical necessities of survival. But I tell you today, that drawer is being burst open by the sheer pressure of my favor. The season of the clenched fist is over. The season of the open hand has begun. You are no longer the one standing in the shadow of the gate, hoping for a crumb of opportunity to fall. I am making you the keeper of the gate itself. I am shifting the very atmosphere of your household from the frantic energy of "how will we make it?" to the steady, rhythmic peace of "whom can we help today?" This transition from borrowing to lending is not merely a change in your bank balance. It is a fundamental restructuring of your soul. I am healing the poverty of spirit that tells you to hoard because you fear the supply will run out. I am replacing it with the confidence of a child who knows their father owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. Remember that yellowed notebook you used to write in, the one where you scribbled the designs for a community space, a sanctuary, a business that would employ those whom the world has discarded. Take it out. Dust it off. Those weren't just the wanderings of a bored mind. They were blueprints I whispered into your spirit while you were yet in the wilderness. You thought you were just surviving, but I was using the struggle to build the character necessary to handle the coming weight of gold. If I had given you the harvest before you learned the value of the seed, you would have consumed it all. But because you have known the sting of the shut-off notice, you will be the one who ensures others always have light. You will be the one who walks into the bank not to ask for a lifeline, but to deposit the resources that will fund a movement. I am bringing people to your door who are where you used to be, tired, discouraged, and bound by the chains of debt. And you will look them in the eye, not with pity, but with the authority of one who has been through the fire and come out smelling like roses. You will tell them, I know the God who makes a way. And as you speak, you will have the tangible means to back up your words. You will be a distributor of my goodness. I am enlarging your capacity to hold, not just so you can have, but so you can flow. Think of the organizations you wished you could support, the missionaries you wanted to send, the neighbors whose burdens you wanted to lift. I am placing the keys to those solutions in your hands. There is a specific plot of land you have driven past 100 times, imagining what could be built there for the glory of my kingdom. Start researching the deed. There is a young person in your circle with a brilliant mind, but no means to pay for their education. I am preparing you to be their anonymous benefactor. You will find a deep, holy joy in the secret act of giving, the check signed in the dark, the groceries left on the porch, the debt paid off without a name attached. This is the lending I am calling you to. It is the lending of hope, the lending of dignity, and the lending of a future to those who thought they had none. I am breaking the generational curse of the borrower in your bloodline. Your children will not inherit your debts, they will inherit your foundations. They will not grow up with the sound of hushed, worried arguments about money echoing through the hallways. They will grow up seeing you write checks that change the world. They will see you walking in a freedom that looks like a legacy. Do not be afraid of the scale of what I am showing you. When you look at the numbers and your breath catches in your throat, remember that I am the one who multiplied the loaves and the fish. The math of the kingdom is not addition. It is exponential multiplication. You are stepping into a realm where the harvest overtakes the sower. Even now, I am aligning the hearts of people you haven't met yet, investors, partners, and advocates who will see the grace on your life and want to be part of what you are building. You have been faithful in the small, lonely place of the empty cupboard, and now I am inviting you into the spacious place of the overflowing storehouse. This is my promise to you. The days of your barely getting by are being erased by the days of your more than enough. I am your provider, and I am about to make you a provider for many. Stay close to my heart, for that is where the true wealth lies. The gold is just the tool. My presence is the treasure. We are going to do great things together. You and I, the world is waiting for the fruit of your faithfulness. I remember the nights when you sat at the kitchen table, the only light coming from a single dim bulb, as you stared at a pile of bills that seemed to grow taller the longer you looked at them. I saw the way your hands trembled when you picked up the highlighter, trying to mark what could be paid today and what had to wait for a miracle. I was there in the grocery store aisle when you had to subtly put back the item your child asked for, making up a reason why it wasn't the right time, while your heart broke in 1,000 quiet places. I felt the sting of the insufficient funds notice at the ATM, the way you looked around to see if anyone had noticed your shame. But I want you to know that I was not just a spectator to your lack. I was the guardian of your process. Every tear that fell onto those unpaid invoices was a seed planted in the soil of your character. I was teaching you the value of a single penny so that when I entrust you with millions, not a single cent will be wasted or used for vanity. The borrower spirit is a heavy gray cloud that makes you walk with your head down, always looking for the next handout, always calculating the cost of your existence. But I am lifting your chin. I am changing your very gait. You are moving from the shuffle of the weary to the stride of the sovereign. Your mailbox, which for years was a source of dread, a vessel for late notices and final demands, is being sanctified. It will become a portal of opportunity. You will open envelopes and find not debts but deeds. You will find contracts that honor your integrity. You will find letters from people saying, I don't know why, but I felt led to invest in your vision. This is the more than enough phase. I am giving you the power to create wealth, not so you can build a bigger fence, but so you can build a longer table. Think of the person who currently holds your debt. I am positioning you to buy the very institution that lent to you. I am putting you in a place where you will provide the interest-free loans to the single mother starting her first business, to the orphan who has a brilliant mind but no tuition, to the ministry that is feeding the hungry on a shoestring budget. You will be the hidden hand of my providence in their lives. You will experience the sheer, electric joy of being the answer to someone else's desperate midnight prayer. Do you remember how it felt when you were the one praying? That memory will be your compass. It will keep you humble, it will keep you hungry for righteousness, and it will keep you connected to my heart. I am re-landscaping the garden of your life. The weeds of interest and the thorns of collection calls are being uprooted. In their place, I am planting the cedars of stability and the vines of perpetual increase. Your children are watching you. They saw the struggle, and they will see the shift. They will learn that their God is a God of the breakthrough. They will not grow up with a scarcity mindset. They will grow up with an abundance mandate. They will see you writing checks that clear the mortgages of your relatives. They will see you donating the vans for the community center. They will see that money is not a master to be served, but a tool to be used for the expansion of the kingdom. Do not be startled when the numbers begin to move faster than your mind can comprehend. I am bypassing the traditional systems of growth. This is a supernatural acceleration. You are stepping into a Goshen season where, even if the world's economy falters, your storehouse will remain full because it is supplied by the riches of my glory. I am aligning your name with favor in the ears of kings and influencers. They will seek your counsel because they see that your hands are clean and your heart is pure. The wealth I am bringing you is sorrow-free wealth. It will not come with the heavy price of your health, your family, or your peace. It is the blessing that makes rich and adds no trouble with it. Rest in this truth. I have already gone ahead of you into your future. I have already signed the documents. I have already cleared the path. Your job is to stay in the secret place with me, to keep your heart soft, and to keep your hands open. The transition from the one who asks to the one who gives is not just a change in your bank account. It is a total transformation of your identity. You are no longer the servant to the lender. You are the son, the daughter, the heir. You are the distributor of my goodness on the earth. This is the weight of the glory I am preparing you for, and you are ready. The world is about to see what happens when I find a heart I can trust with the resources of heaven. We are moving together, step by step, from the desert of not enough into the land of more than enough, and I am delighted to be the one leading you there. Look closely at your hands, for even as I speak, the invisible calluses of struggle are beginning to soften. For years, your palms were clenched tight, reflexively bracing for the next blow, the next unexpected bill, or the next season of lack that threatened to sweep away your peace. But I am prying those fingers open, not to take from you, but to teach you how to receive and, more importantly, how to release. I remember the nights you sat at your kitchen table with the glow of a single lamp, a calculator in one hand, and a heavy heart in the other. I saw the way you stared at those red letters on the envelopes, past due, final notice, overdue. Each word felt like a personal indictment, a label that whispered you were a failure, that you would never catch up, that you were destined to always be the one chasing the tail of a life you couldn't afford. I was there in the grocery store when you discreetly put an item back on the shelf because the math in your head didn't align with the coins in your pocket. I saw the flush of your cheeks and the quiet sigh you exhaled. Those moments were not hidden from me. They were the crucible where I was testing your faithfulness. And because you remained grateful in the not enough, I have found you worthy of the more than enough. You are entering a transition where the rhythm of your life will change from a frantic drumbeat of survival to a melodic symphony of stewardship. Can you feel the shift in the atmosphere around you? The phone calls that used to bring dread, the ones from collectors or those asking for what you didn't have, are being replaced by calls of invitation. I am making you a harbor for those who are currently where you used to be. Do not fear the responsibility of the increase. I am not giving you these resources so you can build a higher wall. I am giving them to you so you can build a longer table. You will walk into the very banks where you once felt small and intimidated, and you will walk in not as a petitioner, but as a partner. You will see the same officers who once turned you away, and they will now marvel at the grace that surrounds your accounts. This is not for your pride, but for my praise. I am using your life as a living testimony that I am the God who lifts the poor from the dust and seats them with princes. Think back to the old car that groaned with every mile, the one you prayed over every morning just to make it to work. Think of the apartment where the heat was a luxury and the blankets were your only refuge. I want you to hold those memories gently, for they are the anchors of your empathy. When you move into the home I have prepared for you, the one with rooms you haven't even found a use for yet, you will not forget the cold. When you drive the vehicle that moves in silence and safety, you will not forget the rattle. This memory is your gift. It will ensure that when the widow knocks, you don't just give her a pittance, you give her a future. When the dreamer comes to you with a vision but no capital, you will not look at their credit score. You will look at their heart, just as I looked at yours. You are becoming the answer to the prayers you used to pray. Do you understand the magnitude of this? You are the manifestation of my provision for someone else's crisis. I am healing the poverty spirit that has tried to colonize your mind. For too long, you have thought in terms of if and maybe and someday. Now, I want you to think in terms of as much as is needed. The mental ceiling you've lived under for 40 years is being dismantled. I am taking you to a place where you no longer look at the right side of the menu first. I am taking you to a place where you can see a need and meet it before the person even finishes their sentence. This is the freedom I bought for you. It is a weightless wealth. It doesn't sit on your chest like a stone. It flows through your veins like wine. I am aligning your footsteps with opportunities that you didn't even apply for. You will receive favor transfers, contracts, ideas, and settlements that come to you simply because you are standing in the right place at the right time, which is to say, you are standing in me. I'm also restoring the time that the locusts have eaten. The years you spent working 2 jobs just to stay afloat, the years you missed birthdays and bedtimes because you were trading your hours for pennies, I am compressing those years. I will give you more influence in 1 month of this new season than you gained in a decade of your own striving. You will find that your yes has weight. When you speak, people will listen, because the fragrance of my abundance is unmistakable. It is a quiet confidence that doesn't need to shout. You will no longer have to prove yourself or sharpen your elbows to get a seat at the table. I have already carved your name into the wood of the table where you belong. Stay soft, my child. The danger of the lending season is the temptation to forget the God of the borrowing season. Keep your heart as tender as it was when you had nothing but my word to hold on to. Keep your hands open. A hand that is balled into a fist to keep its gold cannot receive the new diamonds I am bringing. I am teaching you a new language, the language of the kingdom, where we do not hoard, we circulate. We do not fear the bottom of the barrel because we know the maker of the oil. You are stepping out of the line of those waiting for a handout and into the ranks of those who distribute the king's bounty. The documents are being processed in the courts of heaven. The seals are being broken. The transition is not coming. It is here. Look at the horizon. The sun is rising on your Goshen, and the shadows of debt are fleeing forever. We are just beginning this walk together, and the sights I have to show you will take your breath away. Trust the process of the pruning, for it was only to make room for this massive harvest. You are ready. You are more than ready. Walk with me now into the quiet rooms of your soul where the echoes of "not enough" used to reside. Do you remember the weight that sat upon your chest every time the sun dipped below the horizon? That heavy, suffocating dread of what the morning mail might bring, or the silent prayer you whispered over a card that you hoped would not be declined. I was there in those shadows. I was the one holding your hand when you felt the sting of exclusion, watching others feast while you survived on crumbs of hope. I saw you stretching the little you had until it was transparent, trying to cover everyone else while you remained exposed to the cold. That season was not a punishment, my beloved. It was a profound stripping away of every false security so that, when I finally poured the new wine, your vessel would be clean, seasoned, and strong enough to hold the vintage I have prepared for this hour. The transformation is occurring even in your physical posture. Notice how your shoulders are beginning to drop, how the furrow in your brow is smoothing out. You are no longer bracing for a blow. You are learning the gait of a steward who knows the master's resources are infinite. I am shifting the very atmosphere of your home. Where there was once a fragrance of desperation and the frantic energy of survival, there is now the scent of cedar and myrrh, the aroma of a kingdom established and a peace that surpasses understanding. You are moving from the frantic search for a way out to the steady realization that you have been brought into a wide-open space. This lending season will manifest first in your conversations. You will find yourself offering wisdom to those who are lost in the same labyrinths you once navigated. You will speak words that carry the weight of gold because they have been refined in the fires of your endurance. People will come to you, not just for the material substance I am placing in your hands, but for the yes that lives in your spirit. You will become a bank of hope for the hopeless. I am setting you as a gatekeeper of resources. The phone calls that used to make your heart race with anxiety will be replaced by inquiries of partnership, invitations to create, and opportunities to pour out. Do not be startled by the scale of the requests that will soon reach your ears. You might feel a momentary flash of the old poverty spirit whispering, "Who are you to help them?" Or, "What if it runs out?" In those moments, look at my face. Remember that the oil did not stop flowing for the widow until there were no more jars to fill. I am not giving you a cup, I am giving you a spring. A cup can be emptied, but a spring is fed by an underground source that the world cannot see and the droughts cannot touch. You are being positioned as a distributor of my goodness. Think of the specific debts that have haunted your lineage, the generational cycles of barely getting by, the legacy of almost but not quite. I am taking my finger and drawing a line through those ledgers. I am canceling the spiritual heritage of lack and inscribing a new decree. The blessing of the Lord makes rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. You will look at your bank statements and see more than numbers. You will see the evidence of my faithfulness. You will look at your pantry and see more than food. You will see a table set for the weary traveler. You will look at your time and realize you are no longer a slave to the clock, but a master of your moments, able to stop and sit with the brokenhearted, because you are no longer running a race against a ticking clock of insufficiency. I am teaching you the art of the cheerful giver. There is a joy that comes when you realize that you are the answer to someone else's desperate prayer. Can you imagine it? The very things you once begged for, you will now be the one to hand out. You will walk into rooms and the climate will change because you carry the surplus of heaven. But remember, the power is not in the hoarding, it is in the release. The more you let go of, the more I can pulse through you. It is a divine circulation. I am expanding your capacity to handle the much because you were faithful in the little. I am trusting you with the heavy things, the precious things, the things that require a heart of flesh and not a heart of stone. The pruning was painful, yes. I had to cut away the parts of you that would have tried to use my blessing to validate your ego. I had to remove the thorns of pride that grow so easily in the garden of prosperity. Now, because you have been humbled, you can be exalted. Because you know what it is to have nothing, you will know exactly how to treat those who have nothing. You will never look down on them from a height. You will reach down from a place of shared memory and lift them to where you are. We are building a storehouse together. It is not a storehouse with locks and bars, but a storehouse with doors that swing wide. You are the manager of this estate. Every resource I send your way is a seed, and I am showing you the soil where they will yield 100-fold. You are no longer a victim of the economy of this world. You are a citizen of the economy of grace. This transition is deep, it is permanent, and it is glorious. Do not look back at the desert with longing or fear. The desert has done its work. The Jordan is behind you, and the grapes of the promised land are heavy on the vine. Keep walking with me. We have so much ground to cover, and I want you to see every inch of the territory I am giving you. Lean into my side and feel the rhythm of my heart. It beats with a love that wants to give you everything. Can you feel the weight of the debt lifting? I'm not merely speaking of the numbers on a screen or the ink on a ledger, but the ancient, heavy spirit of the borrower that has haunted your family line for generations. That spirit whispered that you would always be behind, that you would always be secondary, and that your survival depended on the crumbs from another man's table. Today, I am breaking that seal. I am rewriting the very fabric of your identity. You are no longer the one who waits at the gate for a pittance. You are the one who holds the keys to the storehouse. I want you to remember the nights you spent staring at the ceiling, calculating pennies in the dark, feeling the cold knot of anxiety in your stomach as you wondered if there would be enough for the morning. I saw those moments. I counted every tear that fell onto your bank statements and every silent plea you breathed into your pillow. Those were not wasted hours. They were the crucible where I burned away the illusion that your security comes from the world. Now, as the tides of my favor rise, you will find that the resources flowing toward you are not for your comfort alone, but for the distribution of my mercy. You are being positioned as a distribution center for the kingdom. When you look at your accounts and see the surplus, do not let your heart race with the fear of losing it. That is the old nature trying to reclaim its territory. Instead, breathe deeply of my peace. See the numbers not as a hoard to be protected, but as seeds to be scattered. I am giving you a supernatural discernment to see the hidden needs of others. You will walk through the marketplace, and I will highlight a face to you. A young mother struggling to weigh the cost of bread against the cost of milk. A student whose dreams are being crushed by a small, outstanding balance. An elderly man whose dignity is being eroded by a lack he cannot bridge. In those moments, I will whisper to your heart, "This is why I gave it to you." And as you extend your hand to lend, to give, and to cover, you will feel a joy that the world can never replicate. You are becoming an extension of my own generous hand. There is a specific house I am showing you, a place where the lights have been dim and the hope has been fading. I am going to send you there with more than enough. You will not go as a benefactor seeking praise, but as a servant bearing the king's gold. I am teaching you the secret of the widow's oil. The more you pour out, the more I will pour in. The flow is dependent on your willingness to let it go. If you try to dam the river to keep the water for yourself, it will become stagnant. But if you keep the gates open, the current will stay fresh, powerful, and ever-increasing. We are moving into a season of much responsibility, much influence, and much provision. Do not be intimidated by the scale of what I am doing. I am the one who multiplied the loaves and the fish. I have not forgotten how to feed a multitude with what is placed in my hands. I am looking into the deep recesses of your soul right now, past the old scars of poverty and the memories of being told no. I am speaking a permanent yes over your life. Not a yes to greed, but a yes to purpose. You will find that as you lend to others, I am the one backing the loan. You can never outgive me. Every time you release a resource in my name, you are planting it in the richest soil in the universe. Watch how I bring the harvest. It won't always come back in the same currency you gave, but it will always come back in the form you need most. Peace that surpasses understanding, health that defies the years, and a divine protection over everything you touch. Come, walk further into this field with me. Notice the golden hue of the wheat and the fragrance of the blossoms. This is the territory of more than enough. It is a vast land, and we have only just crossed the border. I want to show you the plans for the structures we will build together, places of refuge, centers of learning, and homes for the broken. Your signature will be on the deeds, but my spirit will be the foundation. We are building a legacy that will speak long after your feet have left this earth. Can you see the faces of the children whose lives will be changed because you learned to be a lender? Can you hear the songs of praise that will rise from the homes you helped restore? This is the weight of the heavy things I mentioned. It is a glorious weight, the weight of glory itself. Let us go deeper into the heart of this provision. I want to whisper the names of the first 3 people I want you to help this week. Listen closely. Their names are written on my palms, and now I am writing them on your heart. Do not be afraid of the numbers. I own the cattle on 1,000 hills and the hills themselves. Your father is very, very rich, and he is very, very fond of you. Stay close to my side, and let us begin the work of the great distribution. As we walk deeper into this golden expanse, I want you to notice how the atmosphere changes. The air here does not carry the scent of sweat and striving, but the fragrance of rest. For so long, you have lived in the rhythm of the not yet and the almost enough, but that frequency is fading from your spirit. Look down at your hands. Do you see how they have stopped trembling? For years, you held them out like a beggar, palms upward in a desperate plea for the crumbs of the day. But now I am turning your palms over. You are becoming the conduit through which my grace flows. The first name I whispered to you is Sarah. You know her, though you have never truly seen her. She sits 3 rows behind you, her coat buttoned to the chin to hide the frayed edges of her sweater. She has been praying for a miracle that costs exactly what you have tucked away in your secondary account. The just-in-case fund you've been afraid to touch. I am asking you to touch it. Not because I need your money, but because Sarah needs to know I heard her cry in the middle of the night when she thought the walls were closing in. When you hand her that envelope, you aren't just giving her currency. You are giving her back her faith. You are proving to her that the God of the universe knows the exact number of her utility bill. This is the weight of being a lender. It is the weight of being my hands in a world that feels untouchable. The second name is Elias. He is the young man with the brilliant mind and the heavy heart, the one whose dreams of starting a school for the forgotten have been buried under a mountain of no from every bank in the city. You are going to be his yes. You are going to sit across from him, look him in the eyes, and tell him that the vision I placed in his heart is worth the investment. You will not just lend him capital, you will lend him your courage until his own grows strong enough to stand. Can you feel the shift in your chest as I speak these names? That tightening is not fear, it is the stretching of your capacity. You were built for this. I did not pull you out of the pit just to keep you safe on the ledge. I pulled you out to make you a bridge builder. The third name is Little Marcus. He is the child whose mother works 2 jobs and still can't afford the shoes that don't pinch his toes. When you buy those shoes, you are not just providing leather and laces. You are telling Marcus that he is seen, that he is worthy of comfort, and that his Father in heaven is a provider. This is the work of the great distribution. It is a holy choreography. I move in you, you move in them, and they move back toward me. As we continue walking, look at the storehouses to our left. These are the reservoirs of ideas, strategies, and divine connections. Being a lender is not limited to your bank balance. I am making you a lender of wisdom, a lender of peace, and a lender of hope. People will come to you when their souls are bankrupt, and you will have more than enough to give. You will notice that the more you release, the more the soil beneath your feet yields. In this kingdom, subtraction is the secret to multiplication. You used to worry about running dry, but look back at the path we've taken. Do you see the springs of water bubbling up in your footprints? That is the evidence of my presence. Where you walk, life breaks out. Where you give, the desert blooms. We are heading toward a high ridge now, where you can see the blueprint of the legacy I mentioned. You see those buildings? Those are not made of brick and mortar alone. They are built from the obedience of a heart that decided to trust me more than its own ledgers. Do not look back at the land of borrowing. That territory is behind the mountains now. Its language of I can't and what if is a foreign tongue to you. Here, in the land of lending, we speak the language of it is finished and it is provided. Feel the sun on your face. This is the warmth of my favor. It is not a temporary glow. It is the dawn of a new season that will never see a sunset. I am teaching you how to manage the abundance without letting the abundance manage you. You are the steward, not the slave. You are the distributor, not the hoarder. Every time you release what I put in your hand, I will place something even greater there. Not just for your comfort, though I love to see you comfortable, but for your calling. The calling to change the world one name at a time. Sarah, Elias, Marcus, they are just the beginning. There is a whole world waiting for someone who knows the Father's heart to step into the role of the lender. Are you ready to go even deeper? The river ahead is wide, and its waters are the very lifeblood of my kingdom's economy. Let us step in together. As we wade further, the water rises, pressing against your chest, not to stifle you, but to synchronize your heartbeat with mine. Can you feel the rhythm? It is the pulse of a kingdom that never fluctuates, a market that never crashes. You remember the old brown ledger, don't you? The one with the dog-eared pages where you tracked every cent with a trembling hand. The one where the red ink seemed to bleed into your very sleep and turn your dreams into calculations. Leave it on the bank, resting in the tall grass where the wind will eventually turn its pages into dust. It belongs to the history of a person you no longer are. Here, your accounts are settled in the gold of my presence, a currency that never devalues and never rusts. Look ahead, see the silver mist rising off the surface. Within that mist are the faces of those who will find their footing because you found yours. I am bringing them to your mind now so you can begin to carry them in your heart. There is a young man named Jude, sitting at a scarred wooden desk in a city you haven't visited yet. He is staring at a notice of eviction, his heart cold with the same suffocating fear that used to be your constant companion in the small hours of the morning. But I have already written your name into the solution of his story. You will be the one who provides the seed for his new beginning, not just with a check, but with the testimony of your own deliverance. And then there is Lydia, whose hands are tired and stained with ink, sewing garments she can never afford to buy for her own children. You will be the one who opens the door to her own shop, the one who recognizes the artisan in the servant. Do not be overwhelmed by the scale of the need, for I am the architect. You are simply the one who carries the keys and walks through the doors I have already unlocked. Feel the texture of the water. It is silky and warm, like the finest oil of the harvest. It is the anointing of the provider. I am washing away the scarcity scars from your mind, those invisible wounds that make you want to hoard the leftovers, those shadows that whisper, "What if it runs out tomorrow?" Or "What if I am forgotten?" Look at the sky above us. It doesn't run out of blue. The sun doesn't run out of light. The stars don't run out of fire. and I do not run out of yes and amen. You are learning that the act of lending is actually the act of releasing a river. When you lend to the broken, when you pour out your time and your treasure, you are not losing a portion of yourself. You are clearing the channel for a greater surge of my life to rush through you. Think back to that rainy Tuesday 3 years ago when you stood at the grocery store checkout and had to put the milk and the bread back because the card was declined, while the line behind you grew restless. Remember the burning shame that rose in your throat and the way you blinked back tears in the parking lot. I was there, my child, not to judge your struggle, but to hold you in the midst of it. I whispered then that it was only a season, a wilderness training ground where you would learn to value the bread of life more than the bread of the world. That shame is being dissolved in this river right now. It is being bleached white by the purity of my grace. It is being replaced by a holy, quiet confidence, not a pride in your own strength or your own cleverness, but a deep, unshakable boast in my reliability. As we walk, notice how the riverbed beneath your feet is changing. The jagged rocks of unforeseen expenses and sudden crises have turned into smooth, glowing pearls of divine surprises and supernatural momentum. You will find that even your accidental encounters are now scheduled appointments of grace. You will find resource in places you didn't leave it, and wisdom in moments you didn't expect it. This is the lender's intuition I am gifting to you. I am giving you a nose for where my seeds need to be planted and a heart that beats for the underdog. We are approaching a place where the river widens into a great, calm lake of crystal. The surface is like a mirror, reflecting the light of 1,000 suns. Lean over and look at yourself. Do you see the person staring back? That is not a person defined by what they lack or what they owe. That is a person defined by who they belong to and who they represent. The reflection shows a crown of favor that the world cannot see, a mantle of stewardship that fits your shoulders perfectly, tailored by my own hand. Your hands, once tight and white-knuckled with the effort of survival, are now open, soft, and relaxed. This is the posture of true power. This is the stance of one who knows the bank of heaven is never closed for renovation and never has a low balance alert. Do you hear the laughter echoing across the water? It is a beautiful, cascading sound. It is the laughter of the saints and the pioneers who have walked this path before you, the ones who discovered that the more they gave, the more they had, and the more they bled for others, the more they were filled with the wine of heaven. They are cheering for you, calling your name across the waves. They know the thrill of realizing that you can never give the creator of the universe. Stay here in this waist-deep grace for a while. Let the warmth of it penetrate your very bones and marrow. We are preparing for the next stretch, where the water will carry you completely, and you will learn to float on the currents of my generosity without even trying to swim. This is the rest that remains for the people of God, the rest of the provider who knows the source is infinite. Are you beginning to see the scope of it? The shift from borrowing to lending isn't just a change in your bank balance or your social status. It's a total eclipse of your old identity. You are being renamed the gift. You are being repurposed as a conduit of the miraculous. Every breath you take in this atmosphere is filling your lungs with the oxygen of more than enough. And soon, you will exhale that oxygen into the lungs of the dying. This is the breath you will breathe into the lives of the discouraged. This is the song you will sing to the captives until their chains rot away. We are just getting started, my beloved. There are storehouses yet to be opened, continents of compassion yet to be claimed, and generations yet to be fed by the fruit of your obedience. Let the peace of this river settle the last of your anxieties. You are safe. You are rich in all that matters. You are my hand extended to a world that has forgotten what a father's love feels like, and together we are going to remind them. Look toward the center of the lake, where the water turns a deep, royal blue. There is something I want to show you there, something hidden beneath the surface for this exact moment. As we drift toward that deep blue center, watch how the surface tension changes, becoming thick and smooth like liquid glass, a sapphire mirror reflecting not just the sky above but the destiny I have written into your very marrow before the foundations of the world were laid. Do you see the reflection of the sky? It is no longer just a mirror. It is a gateway into a reality where the mathematics of heaven override the logic of the earth. Reach down and touch the water. It doesn't feel like wetness anymore. It feels like power, a resonant hum that vibrates against your skin, reminding you that you are connected to the source of all things. This is the place where the spirit of the debtor dies a final, quiet death. For years, you lived in the crushing tension of the not yet and the not enough. You spent your nights staring at the ceiling, calculating the cost of your existence, wondering if you were a burden to the earth itself. You borrowed peace from tomorrow just to survive the anxiety of today, only to find that tomorrow arrived with interest you couldn't pay. You borrowed strength from your physical body, pushing past exhaustion just to meet the demands of a world that never stopped asking, never stopped consuming, and never offered a hand in return. You even borrowed your identity from the shifting opinions of people who didn't truly know your name, molding yourself into shapes that didn't fit just to feel a fleeting sense of belonging. But look into the depths of this royal blue. See those shapes shifting beneath us. Those are not shadows. They are the blueprints of your new season, the architectural plans for the houses of hope you will build, and the storehouses of grace you will manage. I am moving you from the periphery of my kingdom to the very center of my administration. A borrower is always looking up, eyes wide with the fear of the collector, always anticipating the moment the other shoe drops. A lender looks down, eyes filled with the compassion of the distributor, seeking the place where the need is greatest. I am training your eyes to look down from the heights of my grace, not in pride, but in the focused intentionality of a provider. I remember the cold nights in that small apartment when you sat by the window, the glass frosted with a winter you felt in your soul, wondering if the heating bill was worth the warmth. I remember the way you counted the coins in the console of your car, your heart racing as the fuel light blinked like a mocking eye, praying those few cents would stretch to the next station. I was there, not as a silent observer enjoying your struggle, but as the master craftsman holding the door of the storehouse closed until the exact moment your character was forged enough to handle the weight of the key without it crushing you. That character is ready now. You have been tested in the furnace of little, and you did not curse me. You have been refined in the long, echoing silence of nothing, and you still sang my praise even when your voice cracked with tears. Now, the much is being released. It is not just for you, it is through you. Imagine the faces of those you used to envy, those who seemed to have the ease you lacked. You will now be the answer to their secret, midnight prayers. You will lend your stability to the family that is falling apart at the seams. You will lend your influence to the one who has been silenced by injustice, giving them a platform they could never build for themselves. You will lend your joy to the widow who has forgotten how to laugh, and your very presence will be a loan of hope that never has to be repaid. This isn't a loan that requires a contract. It is a distribution of the kingdom's bottomless treasury. As we reach the very center of the lake, notice how the water begins to glow with an inner luminescence, a golden light that rises from the depths to meet the blue. This is the anointing of the overflow. It is the oil that never runs dry, the same oil that filled the widow's jars until there were no more vessels to hold it. It is the bread that multiplies in the hands of the giver, defying the laws of scarcity and the fears of the famine. You are no longer the one standing in the long, weary line waiting for a handout. You are the one standing behind the table, handing out the portions with a smile that says, "There is more than enough for everyone." Feel the shift in your very cells, a literal restructuring of your spiritual DNA. The heaviness of the question, "How will I make it?" is being replaced by the exhilarating lightness of, "How much can I give away today?" Your hands are changing right before your eyes. The palms, once tightly clenched in a desperate attempt to hold on to what little you had, are opening wide like lilies in the sun. The fingers are loosening their grip on the temporary. You are becoming a person of the open hand. No one can steal from a person who is already in the process of giving everything away. This is your ultimate protection and your divine immunity. In this royal blue water, I am washing away the memory of lack, scrubbing the stains of not enough from your subconscious. I am cauterizing the wounds of poverty, poverty of spirit that made you feel small, poverty of soul that made you feel unloved, and poverty of resource that made you feel trapped. You will walk back onto the shore of the world as a different creature entirely. People will look at you and see a quiet, unshakable confidence that they cannot explain with logic. They will see a person who doesn't need to take, because they are constantly receiving from an invisible, inexhaustible source. You are my chosen vessel for this specific hour in history. The world is entering a time of great shaking, a time where the systems of men will fail, and the borrowed lives built on the sand of debt and ego will collapse. But you will stand as a pillar of the new economy, a lighthouse in the storm. You will be the one they run to when the banks are empty and the hearts are dry. You will say, with a voice that sounds like this lake, "Come, buy without money and without price." You will lead them to this very water. You will show them the royal blue. Every tear you cried in the season of your trial has been distilled into a pearl of wisdom that you will now give away to those who are drowning in their own sorrows. The struggle was never meant to break you. It was a sacred hollowing, a preparation so you could hold more of this glory without bursting. Can you feel the boat dissolving beneath us? It is no longer needed. You are standing on the water itself. It is firm beneath your feet because you are no longer carrying the weight of your own survival. I am carrying you, and the water recognizes its creator's touch in yours. And as you step forward, every ripple you create is a wave of provision touching a distant shore, feeding a child you will never meet, and comforting a soul on the other side of the world. Go now, my beloved lender. Go and satisfy the hunger of the many with the bread I have placed in your spirit. Go and clothe the naked with the robes of my righteousness that you now wear with such grace. Go and tell the debtors that the year of Jubilee has begun, and the Master has cleared the ledgers. Your signature now carries the weight of my throne. Use it well. Use it often. Use it until the whole world knows that I am a father who provides, and you are the child who proves it. This is your inheritance. This is your peace. This is your life. Welcome to the overflow, where you will never have to borrow a single breath of hope ever again.